Welcome to another round of Prem and Proper here at SDH. It is time to take you through the Premier League, get you ready for the weekend abbreviated schedule because of the FA Cup action that is going on in the midweek. And so we'll go over the juice boxes for both before we are done here today. We'll go over some of the news and notes and get you ready for all the action. Gossip, rumor, innuendo, things left unsaid, and we've also got a 3D from Drew coming up all in short order as well. So let's get you ready for the weekend and with what happened. Let's start with all of the news that has been working its way through. And gossip, rumor, and innuendo. Manchester United's Alvaro Fernandez set to return from a loan spell at Granada and join Benfica. Donny van de Beek, Jadon Sancho have already left Erik ten Hag's side to join Eintracht Frankfurt and Borussia Dortmund, respectively, on loan for the rest of the year. Hannibal Mabry set to join Sevilla on loan with a view to buy, having also attracted interest from Everton. Joe Hugel has joined Burton for the rest of the year after he has extended his contract at Manchester United. Palistri and Dan Gore also attracting interest. Fernandez looks set to head to Benfica. He joined from Real Madrid back in 2020, yet to make a first-team appearance for United, spending last season on loan at Preston North End before joining Granada. On this term, potential €10 million or £8.6 million permanent move has been mentioned in the Portuguese media, along with a loan with clauses under discussion. More from the Manchester United discussion coming up in the 3D with Drew. Also going on, it looks like Hull owner Ashan El-Khali is thrilled to have Liverpool's Fabio Carvalho until the end of the season to help things out in their chase to stay afloat, if not get promoted. Also on the board, Eddie Howe has said that Newcastle would have already looked to enter the transfer market this January if they were not held back by the restrictions of financial fair play. It was reported by Darren Eales, a friend of SDH, that Newcastle had lost in 22-23 £73 million. You can only lose 105 in a rolled over 3-year period. So you can only lose $32 million in the next 2 seasons if you don't want to be found in violation of FFP guidelines. So it's going to be a bit of a juggling act for Newcastle coming up in the next 2 seasons. Nick Levy mentioned on the Friday SDH that it could be a way for them to try and find a way to dispose of the Sandro Tonali salary figure, which was a tremendous amount, £50 million, €70 million. So keep an eye on Tonali, keep an eye on players. Could be some popular players heading outbound for Newcastle United as they try and stay away from any kind of FFP violation. Andre Brooks has penned a new long-term deal at Sheffield United, signing until the end of summer of 2027. He had some nice things to say, and the boy from S5 will continue to hang around until 2027. You also have a lot of stuff going on in the lower divisions. We've mentioned Burton Albion completing the signing of Joe Hugel on a loan deal until the end of the year. Straight into the Albion squad for Monday night's clash away at Derby County in League One. Also on the board, looking at other gossip, rumor, and innuendo across the European plane. And we'll see who could be going, who could be staying, what it looks like, and everything in between when it comes to the comings and goings and stings. Chelsea interested in Republic of Ireland striker Evan Ferguson. Brighton is going to demand a fee in excess of £100 million to sign him. That's courtesy of our friends at the Evening Standard. Manchester United watching the progress of Ajax striker Brian Brobby. That is from our friends at the Mirror. Some senior figures at Real Madrid, and we also know the interest of this particular individual of wanting to come to the Premier League. Some senior figures at Real Madrid believe the club should sign Victor Osimhen rather than Kylian Mbappe from PSG. Everton wants £60 million for their defensive midfielder Amadou Onana. They're also looking at 45 to 50 from Conor Gallagher. If you are a fan of Conor Gallagher, when it comes to these mid-range transfer figures, mid-8 figures for both Gallagher and Onana. Everton want that. Arsenal would have to sell somebody first before they would be able to afford him. Saudi Arabian club Al Hilal have made contact with Aston Villa over the signing of fullback Luca Digne. That's from L'Equipe. Brentford and Frank Onyeka wanted Brentford midfielder Frank Onyeka is wanted by Everton, Fulham, and a number of clubs overseas. Expected to be allowed to leave on loan. Arsenal admires of Bologna striker Joshua Zirkzee. We mentioned that one on SDH and a little bit of soccer over there. But once again, Zirkzee has a price tag mid-eight figures. We'll see if anybody budges on that. West Ham are tracking Mexico striker Santiago Jimenez, who's valued at £30 million at Feyenoord. West Ham and Crystal Palace interested in signing 23-year-old English winger Jack Clark from Sunderland, who's rated at £20 million, with his former club Tottenham set to get 25% of any transfer fee. Good work if you can get it. Burnley signing David Datro Fofana. Been recalled on loan at Union Berlin. The deal was being looked into on Friday morning, and David Datro Fofana was in the plane, and he was heading to Turf Moor as Burnley was getting ready to start the weekend, taking on Luton Town. And we'll let you know what the updated standings are coming up, obviously, in just a little bit. Lyon pushing hard to sign Arnaud Danjuma as the 26-year-old waits for Everton to make a decision on his future after his loan move from Villarreal. And that's from the Liverpool Echo. Brighton, and this is one of the best signings of the window, if you ask me. Brighton have already paid Boca Juniors the $10 million release clause, £7.8 million for 19-year-old Argentine U23 international Valentin Barco, who can play left back or winger. He is a handful. This is a fantastic signing by Brighton. We mentioned Joshua Zirkzee from Arsenal. Summer deal more likely, according to the four-letter paper for the Dutchman. West Ham not interested in re-signing Jesse Lingard, who would be available on a free. Leicester City trying to sign Inter Milan midfielder Stefano Sensi. That is from our friends at the Leicester Mercury. Manchester City and United Scouts have been watching 18-year-old FC Copenhagen and Sweden U21 midfielder Ronny Bargi. That's courtesy of our friends at the Football Insider. So that is your run of gossip, rumor, and innuendo, and that means it's time for the 3D to get you through the weekend. Here's Drew Dickinson and his diatribe. Thank you, Joey.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the 3D. If you're new to the show, this is the Drew Dickinson diatribe. Thank you for joining me. I am Drew Dickinson. Hope everyone enjoyed the FA Cup fixtures last week. But this week, the Premier League is back. Most importantly, Manchester United is back. United traveled to Wigan last week for their third round FA Cup tie, where they won 2-0. This weekend, they are back home at Old Trafford, where Tottenham Hotspur come to town. Spurs currently sit fifth in the table with 39 points, winning 4 of their last 5. United are in 8th place with 31 points and have only won 1 in their last 5. So it's another must-win game for United. Both teams still currently have an injury crisis. With that being said, Ange, the head coach for Spurs, has confirmed that Ben Davies, Giovanni Lo Celso, and Dane Scarlett will miss the trip. Christian Romero, James Maddison, Ivan Perisic, and Manor Solomon also remain out. So with that being said, Spurs have gone into the transfer portal, listen to me, have taken advantage of this open transfer window here in Europe. They have signed Timo Werner on loan from RB Leipzig to help bolster that attack. You know, you have to remember also Spurs are going to be missing Heung-min Son and Popsar and Bissouma. They're all gone for the Asian Cup and the African Cup of Nations. But don't get it twisted. United have their own injury woes themselves. Casemiro, Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, Mason Mount, Lisandro Martinez, all injured, but all also rumored to be in contention to return this Sunday against Spurs, but we'll have to wait and see about that. The last time these two teams played, was back in August of 2023, which saw Spurs win 2-0. I've said this so many times here in the last, 6 to 8 months, but let's hope United can keep that momentum from the 2-0 win at Wigan and come home this week and take care of business against Spurs, a team, you just heard it. They are in an injury crisis themselves and a African Cup of Nations and Asian Cup crisis. So let's see if United can take advantage of that. I don't see Ten Hag making many changes. I would hope for further development with that front three, Rashford, Højlund, and Garnacho. Garnacho himself just absolutely flying. He has taken that right winger position and just completely made it his own. And how can I forget, it just been taking social media, taking everything by toll. Kobe Mainu just anchoring that midfield for United, arguably been the best player for United in their last 3 games. So I'm really excited to see the development of that. One thing I'm so excited about, especially, is the possibility of a Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro, Kobe Mainu 3-man midfield. Just has the potential to really, really, really be incredible. Real quick on some transfer news, as the transfer window was obviously open. Not much news on the incoming train, but a lot of news on the outgoing train. You've seen Donny van de Beek off to Frankfurt. Hannibal could be off to Sevilla. Everton's still trying to fight and get him to come to Everton, which would be, I would love to see that personally. That's my choice. Keep him in the Premier League and then bring him back. Would be kind of incredible to see Hannibal ball out for Everton. And Pellistri having some chatter there with PSV and Martial. Speaking of chatter, the Fenerbahce talk has kind of slowed down as reports say he wants to stay and fight for his spot here at United. How many times have we heard him say that? But according to Ten Hag, he's just not fit. And it's not just the club's responsibility, but it's also Martial's responsibility to get himself fit. If you want to stay and fight for your spot, you got to be healthy. So as more news comes out with that, I will let everyone know. But that's going to do it for this week's edition of the 3D. Hope everyone has a great weekend, and we will speak to everyone Monday. So we're going to send it back on over to you, John. And again, like I said, I hope everyone has a great weekend. Talk soon. All right?
Great dick! As always, it's great to catch up with Drew and get his thoughts in the 3D. And a programming reminder, always tune into SDH in the 10:30 time slot every Monday, where Drew and Maddie will cruise through the Prem with their differing perspectives and let you know what they think about the week and the weekend that was. The one game that started things off Friday Night Football was a 1-1 draw with Burnley and Luton. Burnley had the lead until added time. Carlton Morris scores a header at about 90 plus 3. It goes to video assistant review as they were looking for a possible foul on Adebayo and blocking out the keeper, but it was awarded as a goal on the field, stayed a goal on the field. So a 1-1 draw with those two sides at the bottom of the table. And let's take a peek at where things stand now in the Premier League as we head into, once again, we talk about, the abbreviated schedule that is going on this weekend. Once again, we've got FA Cup and other competitions and such working your way in through the midweek. And so once again, we'll keep an eye on things. Liverpool, once again, through 20 matches, they're at 45 points. Aston Villa at 42. Manchester City, match in hand, and they are at 40 points. Arsenal also at 40 points, but behind by 7 goals in goal difference. Spurs right now at 39 points, and that's your top group right there. Your A+ group is your top 5. West Ham with a little bit of space, they're at 34 points. Brighton's at 31. They are well ahead of Manchester United on goal difference through match week 20. And Newcastle is at 29 points. They've lost 4 of 5. They are in 9th. Chelsea, 28 points. They are in 10th. They have won 3 of their last 5. Wolves at 28 points behind on goal difference. and they have only lost once in their last 5. Bournemouth's in 12th, and I guess you could start group number 3 here. Bournemouth is at 25 points, winners of 4 of 5, but they get Liverpool next on their schedule. Fulham's at 24 points. Crystal Palace is 14th at 21. Forest is at 20 points through 20 matches. Brentford has a match in hand. They've lost 6 of 7. They are at 19 points. Everton, through match week 20, is at 16 points. They are only ahead of Luton on goal difference. Your 3 relegation sides right now, Luton Town and Burnley, who've played their 21st match of the season, they are at 12 points. Sheffield United with 2 wins, 3 draws, and 15 losses in their first 20. They are at 9 points at the bottom of the table. So let's go over what it looks like this upcoming weekend in the Premier League with schedules and such. And as we said, it's just a handful of matches once again because of other competitions going on. In the Premier League, 2 matches on Saturday and 2 matches on Sunday before it picks back up all over again with abbreviated schedules on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, the 20th, 21st, and 22nd, before everything kicks back in again on the last weekend of January. Early match on Saturday morning, Chelsea and Fulham. Chelsea a minus 159 in the composite, courtesy of our friends at Odds Portal with your juice boxes. Draws a plus 333. Fulham is a plus 429. Late game at 12:30. Manchester City is a minus 156 at St. Mary's, taking on Newcastle. Newcastle, with their all-injured squad, is a plus 416. On Sunday, 2 matches at 9 and 11:30. Everton, who is, once again, even with points with Luton Town, but ahead on goal difference, they are hosting Aston Villa, and they are an underdog. Villa's a plus 146. Your draws a plus 264. Everton is a plus 184. Late game, 11:30 on Sunday. It is Manchester United hosting Spurs. Manchester United favored at a plus 116. Draws a plus 304. And Spurs, coming to Old Trafford, are a plus 210. In the FA Cup, it is in the middle of the week on the 16th and the 17th. And so here's where we stand. Wolves and Brentford. Wolves right now, very, very early on the 16th, a minus 112 hosting Brentford. Birmingham a slight favorite at home against Hull City at 245 at a plus 141. Bolton is an underdog at home hosting Luton at a plus 145. West Ham a minus 112 on the road at Bristol City. And Eastleigh is a slight favorite hosting Newport County at a plus 148. All those are at 2:45 Eastern on the 16th. 17th, 3 matches. Blackpool, big underdog, as Forest comes to town at a minus 120. Bristol Rovers, an underdog, hosting Norwich at a plus 127. Everton, minus 103 at Goodison Park, hosting Crystal Palace, who is a plus 282. And your 90-minute draw is a plus 248. So that takes you through everything that's going on in England, all the gossip, all the news, all the innuendo. You've got your 3D. It is all over the place when it comes to life in the Premier League. Thanks to all of you guys for being a part of the Prem and Proper every single week. Once again, reminder, 10:30 block on Monday mornings, Eastern Time. It is the review when it comes to Prem and Proper with Drew, Maddie, and SDH. So for everybody here at SDH, enjoy your limited schedule this weekend. Enjoy your schedule of soccer across the board. Play it safe, everybody. We'll see you on Monday.